Okay, y'all, so let's do a whole recap of Game of Thrones season one. Okay, so we have the Starks, who's players on the playing board. We have the Lannisters, who's players on the playing board. We also have Varys, who's a player on the player board. We have House Targaryen, who's players on the player board. We have people at Castle Black, who's players on the player board. We have Lord Baelish, who's a player on the playing board as well. So, recap of season one. Basically, King Robert, who is King of King's Landing, he basically came to talk to Ned Stark, okay, about um, being the hand of the king. Him and Ned Stark had fought in many wars together. He seen Ned as a brother. He was in love with Ned's sister Lyanna, okay, and he's the only person that he can trust other than Ned. His hand of the king had passed away. Okay, his hand of the king, John Aaron, is Ned Stark's brother-in-law. Okay, and they were lords of the Vale. All right. So Ned Stark gets to Robert Baratheon, because Robert last name is Baratheon, gets to Robert Baratheon in King's Landing to serve as the hand of the king as his best friend. Now, before they actually leave Winterfell, which is the north, okay, where Ned Stark is the Lord of Winterfell, um, his son actually gets pushed out the window because his son sees the king's wife, Cersei Lannister, and her twin brother, Jaime Lannister, getting it in the tower, and Jaime Lannister had pushed the little boy, Brain Stark, out the window, and now he's in a coma or whatever. He was in a coma. He can't walk because he got pushed out the window. He did awake. So the Starks also have direwolves as like their pets or whatever that they found in the woods. Now, Ned Stark goes to King's Landing, okay, to be the hand of the king. He takes his two daughters, Arya Stark and Sansa Stark. Sansa Stark is supposed to be wed to um, Robert Baratheon's son, um, Joffrey Baratheon, okay, because we gonna get to it. So yeah, supposed to be wed to Joffrey Baratheon. So as Ned is in King's Landing, he's learned a whole bunch of shit that's going on. There's a bunch of corruption going on in there. When he get to King's Landing, he gets, he has to be around Varys, okay, a lot. Varys is a eunuch. He's a master of whisperers. He sees a whole bunch of shit and got a whole bunch of people all over the place, okay? He's back and forth, keeping connections over on the east side of things where Daenerys Targaryen is, okay? So then he is surrounded by um, Lord Baelish, who's AKA Littlefinger, okay? And he is a slimy mug too, okay? Very knowledgeable, but really, really slimy. And then we also have, they play like a huge role in what's going on in King's Landing right now. So Robert is there. He finds out that the last hand of the king had got poisoned by his cupbearer, who the cupbearer actually got killed in the tournament, okay? And the last hand of the king got poisoned or whatever because he was doing too much digging into Robert Baratheon's lineage. Okay, so while he was doing all this digging into Robert Baratheon's lineage, he finds out that the three children that Robert Baratheon, who is the king, have with Cersei Lannister, who is the queen, ain't his kids. Okay, that they are all kids from her brother Jaime Lannister, but the King Robert doesn't know any of this. Okay, so King Robert didn't know any of this. He ends up going to a hunting thing, and during the hunt, he ends up dying. It comes to find out that they had set the whole shit up so that he could be drunk as fuck, so that he couldn't defend himself when he went to go out dying, when he went to go hunting or whatever. So it would have been easy for an animal to really get the best of him because he wasn't in his right mind. And his own wife had set that up. He was originally supposed to die in the joust, okay, but because he didn't do the joust, that plan was X, and he had to figure out another plan to get him out the way. So they just didn't want Robert to be king anymore for some reason. And it was all because of his wife. She was mad because Robert was playing in her face. He out here sleeping with a whole bunch of women. He got a whole bunch of women that he slept with, had kids with, and all that. You feel me? He's sleeping with women in the castle and don't even care if she in there or not. He all up on women at parties in front of people. So yeah, he was just really playing in her face for real. But at the end of the day, they was just married. Like they had title. You know what I'm saying? And her family, the Lannister family, has a lot of money. They're the richest family in the kingdoms. So that's the reason why he was aligned with her, pretty much. That's the reason why he tolerate her. Now, Cersei Lannister has a father, Tywin Lannister, her twin brother, Jaime Lannister, and a little brother, um, Tyrion Lannister, who I really like. Tyrion is really smart. He's witty. I feel like Tyrion is good. Overall, I like his character. So over in King's Landing, okay, King's Landing, no, not in King's Landing. Over in the east, we have Daenerys Targaryen and her brother Viserys, the fifth, I think, or the third, I don't know, but her brother Viserys, and they are the last two Targaryens. But they think they're the last two Targaryens, but it's actually two more Targaryens out there. But they're the last two Targaryens. They actually were sent away into hiding after the Mad King Aerys was murdered by Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. So that's how Robert ended up taking over the throne in his rebellion or whatever. He ended up being the king. So um, they trying to get Viserys is trying to get an army together so that he could get over to King's Landing to get his throne or whatever the case may be. But Viserys is just an asshole, so he marries his sister Daenerys off to the Dothraki leader or whatever. They end up bonding or whatever the case may be. They start showing her love. Viserys got big mad, big upset because they love her more. Okay, he big disrespected Daenerys in front of her husband Khal Drogo. So Khal Drogo had to off Viserys. So now it's just Daenerys. Okay, and she had these dragon eggs. So then the Khal Drogo gets sick, or whatever the case may be. And, she lost her son, she lost Khal Drogo doing this magic, trying to bring Khal Drogo back, or whatever the case may be. But in the end, she ends up giving Khal Drogo a funeral, burning some eggs or whatever, and then out hatched the dragon. So now she has three dragons. No one has seen dragons in years since the Targaryen Civil War, which is the House of Dragons now, which y'all can see on TV. No one has seen dragons since then. And now there's three dragons that popped up in the world, okay? Now, Jon Snow is Robb Stark's bastard son, okay? And I keep doing this because we're going to see more of that storyline as it plays out. Is Jon Snow's bastard son. He also went to the wall, okay? The north of the wall or whatever, to join the Night's Watch. And his story is very compelling as well. So I think I pretty much said that we had Robb Stark and Sansa Stark. So they ended up murdering Ned Stark, okay? And now Robb Stark, who is Ned Stark's son, is trying to, get his sisters back from King's Landing and everything like that. And he's now claimed to be the King of the North and stuff like that because he don't want to be underneath of Joffrey Baratheon, who is an asshole. Okay, because now Joffrey is the king. So that's pretty much season one all wrapped up in the bow from what I can remember. It was a whole bunch more details. Y'all can just go back episode by episode. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that's going on right now. So yeah. Y'all go ahead and like the video, drop your comments, and I'll see you in the next one.